What can happen if you ask a stupid question to an MMA fighter? You. Could he be offended? You need to take no, bro, or ask a question in response. Let me ask you something. Are you gay? Or even worse. These are the moments when MMA fighters check stupid interviewers. Let's kick it off with journalist Jose Youngs and your favorite African fighter, Mike Perry. Jose got some time to interview Mike ahead of his fight with Donald Cerrone. Unfortunately for him, he did not use that time well. The question that followed had nothing to do with Mike's future opponent. You and Louis Fang his best friends? Although Mike was confused at first, he quickly came up with his answer, and we can't help but to think he had much worse words to say to him. But Perry, being Perry, retaliated with the counter and decided to be, well, friendly.
Keep seeing you on your vlog, you guys hanging out all the time.
It's not my vlog. He's here for the fight. He's a good guy. Why you gotta be gay with it? We best friends. Are these people your best friends? You're standing pretty close to them, sir. Your hair's pretty fucking friendly. Motherfucker. Any other fucking questions?
Good, Mike.
The African fighter doesn't play games, and this interview gives us Ariel Helwani versus Rampage Jackson vibes. Speaking of Ariel, if anyone pissed off other fighters in interviews, it's him. The man got fired from the UFC and even managed to be on the wrong foot with Khabib Nurmagomedov, who blocked him on Twitter. Ariel was vocal about Alvarez versus McGregor promoting the fight without ever mentioning Khabib in the title picture.
When UFC sent me 2 contracts, right?
Yeah.
Why you not say nothing about this?
I believe that I did.
But
I believe that I've talked about
okay,
maybe not in a tweet that you could see, but if you watch all the content.
The Eagle wasn't as cruel as Rampage, but he let Helwani know that he wasn't a fan of his journalistic gains. He felt betrayed and insulted. Ariel, on the other hand, shifted the blame to the UFC, claiming that Khabib was just a pawn in their game to pressure Alvarez into fighting McGregor. Helwani claimed that he had his back all the time, but Khabib wanted proof and gave him a free loyalty lesson.
Healthy?
You stay with me, honest. Why? If you know UFC used by name, why you don't say nothing?
I did.
For when?
I did.
Show me.
Ask your management team.
No, show me.
What do you mean show you?
Why you talk with me like friend? For me, is loyal is number one. If you don't know what is this loyal, you have to go Google Translate. Conor champion, you with Conor. Alvarez champion, you with Alvarez. I feel you're not loyal. That's why I block you.
The 7.5-minute interview was persuasive from both sides. Khabib was the right one, but Ariel never intended to admit his mistake, so he didn't want to start now. Towards the end of the interview, Nurmagomedov completely surrendered to the relentless persuasion of the press and issued one of the most polite threats ever.
Are you going to fight the winner of Conor Eddie? Are you going to fight the winner?
I want to fight with you.
Oh.
Let's talk now.
Should have been thankful that Khabib is a well-bred guy with manners who avoids bad words. Otherwise, he could have fared much worse. However, the same cannot be said for Nick Diaz, who did not hold back for a second. The gangster from Stockton is not used to having a false personality and will hardly answer a question dishonestly. But Ariel Helwani deserves exactly these kinds of interviews, and let us tell you, his kindness does not give him the answers he would like because fighters see right through him. It took Nick only 4 seconds to share his opinion.
Nick, good to see you again. A lot of people are very excited for this fight. How are you feeling in the days leading up to it?
I'm all right. You know, I wasn't going to do this interview, but they told me I had to. I feel good. I'm ready to fight. I don't have much to say, you know.
Something against me? Do you not like me, Nick?
I feel like you instigate fights quite a bit. That's your job, but where I come from, you know, people like that get slapped.
Although he didn't slap him, Nick was right. People like this really get slapped in their hometowns. It was his younger brother Nate who showed us how they do it in Stockton. When he met with a reporter who made disrespectful memes about Nate's friend, the younger Diaz didn't waste time. At the very start he whispered, "You gotta watch your tweets about my dude who was fighting recently." He slapped the microphone and then the reporter's cap. It was a great balance between disrespect and not getting sued for an assault. Well, in a world of internet tough guys, it's good to have a few out there keeping guys accountable for their actions. The reporter laughed, but in his eyes, you could see that he wanted to disappear. Conor McGregor has seen his fair share of battles, in the cage and on the microphone. With fighters, reporters, and well, everybody else. His comedic timing and eloquence are the perfect combination to bring down anyone who asks him something absurd. In the media preparations for the featherweight title fight, no one suffered more mental damage than poor Jose Aldo, who didn't know a word of English. That didn't stop Conor from bombarding him with insults in every interview though. However, Jose was not the only target of McGregor's trash talk. There were also reporters who dared to ask stupid questions.
So what is it that he did that disrespected you that got you to dislike him?
This is not a therapy session.
Well, no, but you accused him of starting this, right?
I said what I said.
Short and clear, classic notorious answer. But this was not the stupidest thing that came out of the journalist's mouth. Cotton, an Australia-based TMZ reporter, asked him how a fight in the octagon between him and Jesus Christ would take place. Conor decided to play his game and keep his answer funny, even though many people marked this as insulting.
You versus Jesus in the octagon. How would he fare?
Well, there's not a man alive that can beat me. But Jesus ain't alive, is he? So I don't know. Maybe he could come back from the dead. I don't know. I'd still whoop his ass.
As there are worse things to come, the same reporter returned when McGregor was doing media duties ahead of the Diaz fight. On one occasion, he called Nate a cholo gangster from the hood, which was enough for a journalist to take advantage of the situation and ask a racially motivated question. No journalist would not get the worst out of a controversial situation. They feed off it. However, McGregor, aware of the backlash due to the Jesus question, was not so polite and playful with his answer this time.
You called him a cholo in there. That's kind of racially motivated. Did you mean to say it like that?
Mate, shut the up and get away from me. You're remember that Jesus shit you brought up?
Yeah.
It's such a stupid question, man.
If you pay attention to the TMZ reporter's tone of voice when Conor asked him if he remembered the Jesus question,
Jesus shit you brought up?
Yeah.
It says a lot. He was genuinely happy about it, proving they have no shame. Now we return to Khabib Nurmagomedov, who also showed how he can be strict with his answer and put the reporter in his place. I guess he learned from the previous interview with Ariel Helwani that talking too much with journalists doesn't solve anything. It's a bottomless pit, and keeping it short and simple is a way to go against these kinds of vultures.
We saw how Tony acted at the press conference yesterday. There's some people that are saying maybe he's doing this to promote, but other people are saying maybe he has some mental problems and there's something wrong with him. May I ask, which do you think it is?
Honestly, it's like nothing personal here. I don't want to talk about his problem, like family stuff, mental stuff, like this is his problem, leave him alone, I don't want to talk about him, about his problem, because like everybody sit here, everybody have problem, it's like nobody's safe, If he need help, we have to help him.
Every time a journalist says, there are some people that say, it mostly means that he is those people. Notice how everyone else on the stage smiled when this private question was asked about a man who wasn't even present. Still, you don't have to be a jerk. You just have to choose your words carefully because anything you say can be taken out of context and used against you. There are two different ways to answer the question about Tony's health. The first and kind way was shown by Nurmagomedov, and the second was demonstrated by Tony himself.
You seem to be in really great spirits. I commend you for going headfirst into some mental health issues and working through that. It takes a lot of courage as a professional athlete, especially. A lot of people look up to you.
You.
I was giving you props. I was just wondering.
Advice. Next question.
I wasn't giving you advice, sir. Sorry. Okay.
The same journalist later revealed that he had served in Iraq and that he understood mental struggles, but Tony did not immediately recognize this as a good intention. He reacted offensively because he knows how media issues work. This journalist was really an exception, but Ferguson, guided by his previous experience with the press, reacted in his own way. Due to frequent and bad journalism, even these positive ones receive negative feedback from fighters.
Well, Tony's mental health was mostly bothering everyone else but him. Speaking of mentally unstable persons, let's move on to our favorite functional sociopath, Sean Strickland, and his way of handling reporters. He is actually the man asking the questions, not the reporters. No community is safe, and neither is a political organization, a promotional product, or any kind of governing system. Sean wakes up in the morning and decides to speak facts without a filter. It was enough for the reporter to say he was Canadian, and Sean went on a rampage. As time went on, Strickland got worse and worse. All you gotta do is sit back and enjoy the Tarzan show.
You're in Toronto. Welcome. Glad to hear it. It's been great.
Are you Canadian?
Of course I am.
Are you part of the fucking opposition? Are you?
I don't know how to phrase that.
You got like, yeah.
Well, I did want to ask.
Did you vote for Trudeau?
I'm not going to say.
And let me tell you something right now. The man says he's not going to say. Like, if you ask him, motherfucker, did you vote for Biden? He's like, well, I'm not going to say. That's none of your business. He voted for fucking Biden.
Sean,
hey.
Sean, I'm glad you've had great experiences.
So this is what I'm talking about, you guys. The enemy of Canada.
We've got a pretty supportive gay and lesbian community in this city. I did want to ask you about something you wrote a couple of years ago. You said, if I had a gay son, I would think I'd...
Oh, look, another. I'm saying in the swamp, you guys, the swamp.
You become a champion, you become a star, and someone says...
Let me ask you something. Are you gay? Are you? Let me know. Are you gay?
Can I get an answer?
Well, no, I'm asking. This is a part of. Are you a gay man?
I'm an ally of the community.
Okay. If you had a son and he was like, he had a son, he was gay, you'd be like, oh man, you don't want a grandkid?
No problem with it.
Oh man, well, dude, you're a weak fucking man, dude. You're part of the fucking problem. You elected Justin Trudeau, when he sees the bank accounts, you're just fucking pathetic. The fact that you have no fucking backbone and has he shut down your fucking country and seized bank accounts? You ask him some stupid like that, go fuck yourself. Move the fuck on, man.
I feel like that really answered the question, but I did want to ask also things you said about the trans community. You said this past October when they announced the Bud Light sponsorship that you'd go so hard on Bud Light in your next fight, they'll have to accept me or denounce me when they know what and will know what they stand for. Are you still going to use your fight time to kind of speak on that?
Here's the thing about Bud Light. 10 years ago, to be trans was a mental fucking illness. And now all of a sudden, people like you have fucking weaseled your way into the world. You are an infection. You are the definition of weakness. Everything that is wrong with the world is because of fucking you. And the best thing is the world's not buying it. The world's not buying your fucking bullshit you're fucking peddling. The world is not saying, you know what? You're right. Fucking chicks have dicks. The world's not saying that. The world's saying, no, there are two genders. I don't want my kids being taught about, who they could in school. I don't want my kids being taught about, their sexual preference. Dude, this guy is the fucking enemy. You want to look at the fucking enemy to our world? It's that motherfucker right there, asking these stupid fucking questions. Sorry, I told the UFC I was being nicer. Lance, am I still good with this? Did I cross any lines? A little. What the fuck? I didn't say the F word. You just brought this fucking guy in here to piss me off.
It is clear that people are getting more sensitive by the day, and that everything under the blue sky is somehow offensive. But when did they go so soft when it comes to cage fighting? We are literally talking about two men who agreed to harm each other and spent a good part of their lives doing it for their fame and our entertainment. Accordingly, if you ever feel stupid, remember that a reporter asked Jorge Masvidal about unnecessary punches in his fight against Ben Askren. Yes, he asked that question to the thoroughbred killer and MMA veteran with over 50 fights. To a man who has been listening to Ben's trash talk for months, the least he could do is give him a few extra punches. He was quick with his knockout, but even quicker with his golden response to the reporter. We will give you a heads up. This one also opened the question with, people said, and we explained what that means.
I saw some criticism. People say the punches weren't really necessary. Maybe
they were super necessary.
Why were they necessary?
What do you mean, why were they not necessary?
Because he was already knocked out at that point.
But the referee hadn't pulled me off. And my job is to hit somebody till the referee pulls me off. So to those people, I would say maybe don't watch MMA, go back to soccer.
I saw some other criticisms perhaps of your celebration afterwards. Any regrets at the celebration or your behavior in the cage afterwards?
Man, there's not too many people that I've disliked. I have over 50 pro fights, and he's one of them, He talked about my manhood, talked about my culture, my ethnicity. Where do we draw? Why do certain people get to do stuff? You online, so you could do anything. Everything is cool before a fight. You're allowed to do and say whatever you want, but after a fight, I'm not allowed to showboat and rub it in your face so you and guys like you could see it and be like, maybe I don't talk so much shit, because when I cross one of these real motherfuckers, they're gonna make me pay for it, man. They're gonna embarrass the shit out of me. And it's not over for Ben either. He still has to deal with me. If I see him at Whole Foods, I'm gonna still slap that dude up because I don't like him.
Safe to say that the reporter deserved a few super necessary shots. This was not the first time Jorge was the target of stupid questions. A similar thing happened at the press conference for UFC 287. The difference is, this time, Dana White, Kevin Holland, Santiago Ponzinibbio, and Jorge Masvidal were the targets of journalistic stupidity. Yes, this was a group assassination attempt. As Sean Strickland said earlier, it's a swamp, you guys, a swamp. The first question had nothing to do with the event. and all subsequent ones were instigating fights between fighters who weren't even fighting each other. Dana never refused free promotion and hyping fights, but this time, he decided to draw the line, and his employees did the same.
And just lastly for me, Dana, I just want to ask you quickly, it's the first time we've seen you since the massive merger news with WWE. I'm just curious, your thoughts on that massive deal, and I guess, fans are trying to figure out what it means to them. How will it impact the UFC and the fans?
I'd rather not talk about that right now. We could talk about that another time, but yeah, obviously it's exciting for the company and everything else, but this is about these guys right now, not that.
I have one more question for Jorge. Jorge, yesterday at the hotel there appeared to be a run-in between yourself and Kevin Holland. I was curious, what was that about?
Absolutely nothing. There's nothing to talk about there. It's just some riding, cloud chasing, so ain't nothing to talk about.
Nah, that's not what you were saying yesterday, bro. Watch your mouth.
Kevin, I'm curious, what is the issue there?
I called him baby
what's
girl
the
and he
question?
got mad.
Guys, come on, these two aren't even fighting. Knock it off.
All right, okay.
Do you have a question about the fight, who these guys are fighting, or you just want to start shitting here? What's your question?
Cool. And if Dana will let me, I was gonna ask if we can get a little bit of.
Don't even ask, bro. Don't even ask. Don't get me in trouble.
You got it, man. Good luck on Saturday. And I'll ask you, given what we know about what happened yesterday, do you think that Kevin's focus isn't entirely on you? And do you think that if he's looking past you, it'll really...
Don't even answer that question.
No worries.
A question for the Trailblazer, Kevin Holland. WWE, UFC merger, one umbrella. Past or present, professional wrestling. If you could take one person with the steel chair to the skull, who would it be? Or UFC fighter, wrestling ring.
No comment. I'm trying not to get in trouble.
Any other stupid questions?
This story's crazy, but check out the next one. It'll totally blow your mind.